them their time.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. We are Houston Vintage, Dawn Bell, Deanna Candida, Maria Martinez, and we are discussing How to Dress for Success by Edith Head with Joe Hyams. Dawn, why don't you tell us who Edith is?
Yeah, Edith is a internationally acclaimed Hollywood designer. She has won Academy Awards, and she's dressed people like Audrey Hepburn and Sophia Loren and
Grace Kelly.
All the Grace Kelly. And she's probably the most famous costume designer to come out of Hollywood.
Yes.
So, and this book was published in 1967. So it's a bit antiquated in a lot of the advice that it gives you. We were laughing. Deanna pointed something out that was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was about maybe like having a short career was a good thing because you were like, your goal was to get to the altar with a gold ring.
Find a man in the workplace and get married.
Yeah.
And live happily ever after. But we all know, the three of us know, that it's not like that, and we don't want it to be like that. So, and we all have our individual careers, and I think our clothes and our images have been a really important part of that.
Yes. Also, we ran a vintage festival for 10 years.
Yes, and that was so much fun, and we know a lot of you guys, hopefully you'll watch this video and give us a thumbs up and follow along because we all have a lot of fun memories together from that festival.
Absolutely.
And the three of us are together because we all loved working with each other so much all these years, and we're looking for new projects and ways to just
share
get people,
our love
exactly, share our love of vintage.
Rediscover our passion, talk about it, share it.
Yeah. So, and we hope you guys will like the content that we provide.
Yes. So Chapter 1.
Yeah.
What is Chapter 1? How to dress for success in business. There is a summary page. Let's see.
Yeah, so I was going to say that coming to our first, podcast today, I was like, how would I dress? I knew the chapter was about work, and so I was like, well, in the 60s, so I found a vintage 60s outfit that I thought would do the part.
And you wear vintage so well.
I know.
I mean, you accessorize it right. I mean, I don't know if anybody can see her shoes, but they're amazing. They're so amazing and in great shape. And as anybody who wears vintage shoes, it's hard. You best have a little bit of glue in your purse.
I've lost some soles before, for sure.
I did too.
They come off.
Yeah. I was in New Orleans and I was running across the street. I had a pair of platforms on, and literally the whole platform flew off the street, and I just kept running, scooped it up. Anyway, I still love vintage, and I'll still wear vintage shoes.
Absolutely. So. It's the most sustainable, fun way to bring in some real unique pieces into your closet.
Yeah, your style, be unique and individual.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Unique?
Yeah. And you're not at the mercy of store buyers.
Yes.
Because when you go into a shop, they might have 5 or 6 different styles of shoes, and everybody's going to have them on.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's what the stores have. Again, with vintage, you can really express your own individual style, which I love too.
Yeah.
But we were talking about the first chapter and thinking that, with any time your style, what you want to do is really just be confident, be comfortable in what you have on, and you can choose any style as long as you, when you go in for a job interview, as long as you're, comfortable with it. I think that's very, very important.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Being confident and comfortable in what you're wearing is, I think, essential and key. And Edith actually addresses that as well. She talks about a lot of other things, but ultimately, the last point, I think, addresses that. Deanna, do you want to tell us what some of these points say?
So the first one says, decide what kind of job you really want and prepare yourself for it. And it was interesting because in the chapter she talks about if you don't have any friends there, or you don't know anyone, you could even hang out outside the office when people are leaving. You kind of see the general style of the people that what they wear. And it's true, if you go to different offices, there are different styles. Even
Definitely.
today in casual,
Yeah, design firm versus architecture firm
Yeah.
versus like, or a
IT,
nonprofit
marketing.
firm,
Oh, yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And then it says, decide if you're qualified for it. If not, look for one you can handle.
Be realistic, I think, in summary.
Find out the image of the job. So that's related to that first point as well. If you don't know anyone, go at noontime or at 5 p.m. And then dress carefully for your appointment, and what you have found is the generally accepted look. I think,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think maybe, I'm not one to give this sort of advice, but to maybe err on the side of being a little bit conservative.
Yeah.
Just like those first days
At
when
first.
you go in, and then you get more of a feel, like you said, like you can see how other people are dressing and kind of, and then you can express yourself a little more. Like
Ease into it.
Ease into it a little
yeah, I
bit.
did that with my software job where I went in. It was kind of, very standard, very conservative. And then I started wearing my 70s dress with the big lapels and big orange
Oh, I
flowers
love
on
that.
it. Yeah.
I actually went in for, I worked for Saks Fifth Avenue when I was 18, and I worked as a flyer, so I did all different departments. And this was before, like, people in the really posh department stores wore, like, all black. And so I was, and it's also in the 80s, and I was wearing, like, 1920s, like, men's smoking jackets and big wide leg pants. And I got called up for how I was dressing. And you would think, like, being in a department store that sells, like, major, high-end designers, like, it shouldn't have been an issue. But they said I was dressing a little bit too individual.
Whoa!
So I had to, like,
You had too much
scale.
style.
I had to
You were
scale.
too hot, Dawn. You had to turn it down for them.
It was the clothes. It was all the clothes. But anyway, I did. So I had to scale back my look a lot,
Wow.
And that was interesting because women have so many different careers now.
Yeah.
Like somebody who is working in fashion now can be a lot more creative in their work environment than, say, somebody who maybe works at a law firm.
Yeah.
So
Right.
yeah.
Or like something with money and math,
Yeah.
like a CPA.
Yeah.
Can't. I mean, I guess you could really, like, but I think the standard, if you wanted to fall within the boundary and
Yeah.
normal, it would probably require like, normal suit, not like 80s.
Well, but I'm thinking of Mimi too.
Orange.
Like,
Oh,
wow,
yeah.
I mean, she really shows off her
True.
style.
Oh yeah, we
Like
should
her-
have Mimi as a guest.
Mimi,
Mimi,
Label,
we need to have you as a guest.
Yes, Mimi Irvin.
Yeah.
Like pink hard hat or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Yeah, she's great about that.
Yeah.
She's really good. I
So
enjoy
fun.
it.
I feel like that's like true courage. Like
Yeah.
being that expressive and just having fun
Yeah.
and like not really being concerned with everyone's opinion because everyone's going to have an opinion anyway.
Right.
And she was completely covered and it wasn't like
But she's also a badass. I mean, like,
absolutely
she knows her job.
Yeah.
She's like,
right. Super badass.
Yeah, and has the confidence.
yeah.
Exactly.
Because somebody
Back to-
else could actually maybe wear clothes like that to the office, and if they feel uncomfortable or should I have
Yeah,
worn
that's
this or
what it
not,
Mhm.
then people are going to notice them and think
Right.
that's
Big time.
awkward.
Yeah,
They
so-
shouldn't have worn,
That goes back
So,
to your confidence
yeah,
point. Is like
yeah.
if you have the confidence in your clothes,
Yeah.
you
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's an interesting point.
Okay,
So,
what point was that? Where are we?
We're like almost the last one, and it says,
being well groomed, yeah.
above all, being well groomed and look like a girl or woman who would be a credit to the firm. Then do a
And you
good
would
job.
want to do that.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
you
wanna
would
do a
want to
good
do
job.
that for whatever company you work
Yeah.
for.
Have
you know.
integrity.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yeah. So it all kind of ties in together, I think. I think
Yeah.
like having integrity, caring about the company you work for. Obviously, if certain people will come into the office that day, you might want to like spend a few extra minutes in the morning and do something a little bit more special than you normally would. Because we all know that we sometimes rush out the door
Totally.
and my hair's wet.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we'd want to give ourselves a little more time because, we care about the companies we work for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And networking, because that's so important. You want to leave a good impression.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So,
Let's see how that turned out.
Okay, that sounds good.
Now a word from our sponsors.